What's up, guys? It's Jam1 from Jam1TCG coming at you guys with another totally awesome video, and not just any totally awesome video, but totally awesome deck profile, and not just anyone's totally awesome deck profile. But that's right, you guys wanted it. You guys are gonna get my deck profile, the Frogmaster. This is the deck profiles with an S because there's multiple versions of the deck that I played throughout the Crush Cup before Master Ruel 5 and beyond. Okay, so we're gonna talk about those and get into it and break it down. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss this one. All right, guys. So this is going to be the core. All right, we're going to start here, and I might spend the most amount of time on this version besides all of the other versions because this version was the root and stem of what you guys saw me playing throughout the Crush Cup. This deck profile here is probably my favorite iteration of my version of Paleo Frogs because you guys know I play, they call me the Frog Master because I make frogs competitively viable in every format ever since the release of Toadally Awesome, okay? And that's why I had the nickname. Everyone gave me that nickname. So what's cool about this is I haven't played Paleo till last year. Last year was when I finally picked up Paleo because I was like, you know, I think it's time for me to just try like a pure ruse version of it because obviously I can make it broken because obviously Paleo frogs have had success in the past. They even won a YCS a long time ago, right? So this is the version of Paleo that I really like. This is probably my favorite version of this deck. I was going to take it to the Columbus regional right before the ban list and right before, you know, the world changed with quarantine and everything else. So this is where we're starting here. All right. All right, so we're going to go through the ratios starting first because as we go through it, it's going to be important to make sure that you guys watch all the way to the end so you understand why and what I'm doing. If you just try to pick up this deck and copy and paste it, you're not going to win with it because you won't understand how it works, okay? So, and another thing before we get started on all of that, I want to make sure you guys in the comments, you will see in the comments and in the description of the video, there's a link to TCG Player. If you guys are going to buy any of these cards and going forward, please pause now and bookmark TCG Player, okay? Bookmark it on not just TCG Player. It has to be that link specifically, okay? Bookmark my link so that you guys can help me out and help out the channel, okay? Because by doing so, when you buy cards that you're already going to buy anyways, a percentage of that comes to me, and that will help me be able to create more content, buy more gear, and all of that, etc. Okay, so I appreciate it, especially if I'm dropping this knowledge for you guys, because you guys requested this. I wasn't actually going to post these because I thought that some of them weren't the best in the world, but you guys wanted it, so please help me out if you're going to buy any of this, all right? Let's get to it. So we're going to start off with 3 swap frogs. This is a standard frog package. I told you guys before, this is our magic number of the frogs. If you play these 3, 3, 2, that's usually like the best ratio, like always. Like you've watched my videos before. I don't have to explain why, but it's really good. Just trust me, if you try to cut behind these corners, it usually doesn't work out as well as this ratio. We're next going to go to the next double Lilith, okay? Triple Canadia. This is the Paleo package here. Triple Dinomyscus. Triple Oleanoids. Triple main deck. That's right. We'll explain it in a second, okay? Main deck evenly. Double Imperm. Trap Trick 3. Imperial Order 1 and so on of obviously. Scapegoat. Double Compulse. Double Lost Winds. Double Gozen. You guys already know the power it goes in now that you guys been watching the PPG. People have been sleeping on this card, but I was playing it like I said a while ago. So and then 1 rivalry, and then I know people Mystic Mind. Yep, we're playing it. Okay, it's a good card. All right, so 3 Mystic Mind package with Metaverse and 1 Demise of the Land. We're gonna go to the extra deck. Extra deck is gonna be 1 Link Spider, 1 Link Karibo, 1 Security Dragon, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 IP Masquerena, 1 Marince's Coral Anemone, 3 Totally Awesomes. Oh my goodness, I missed this format already. I just want my 3 toads, guys. I missed them. So 1 Opal Binya, 1 Unicorn, 1 Avamax, 1 Boro Sword, 1 Boro Load, and then Zoroboros, topological Zoroboros, and then side deck wise, we're gonna go 3 Spectre Border, aka Silver Surfer, 3 Anti-Spell Fragrance, 3 Pointer of the Red Lotus, double Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, and double Gamma Seal, and then finally we have double Heavy Storm Dusters, okay? So let's break this down. Put yourself back in the mindset of last format. This is, like I said, my last Master Ruel 4 list. Last format, we had Spyro, we had Shaddoll Invoked, and even some pure versions of Shaddoll. We had some Salad. We had full Dragon Access or Link Dragons, whatever you want to call it. I have some notes down here too, so I might glance off just to kind of remind myself some things. Luna Light was a thing back then. Orcus was also a thing back then, okay? So this version of the deck was meant to counter all of those decks. So, but the logic is still here as we go forward, all right? So we're going to explain some of the card logics. What I was trying to do, and as I explained throughout the Crush Card Cup, the theory of this deck was, how do I still go second and first at the same time, lose the dice roll or win the dice roll and still win? The theory behind it was the fact that we know that Paleo is strong. So strong that once it goes first, it usually always wins. But the problem that I had with the deck in general, as I said, I picked it up last year. One of the problems I had with the deck is that it had a terrible go second. So the theory of this deck was to basically kind of hinge against that weakness and still win the duel. So what's the major win con here? The major win con is always going to be our stun to death with Toad or OTK with something like Boros Sword, okay, or Zoroboros. That's basically the plan. How do you get there from here? Well, this is also shout out to Mike Wiz, because his logic, I use his logic combined with some of the logic of people from my locals, and this is how this deck became a thing, okay? So one of his logics with the card choices here, that's why I'm only playing these specific Paleos. I'm not playing none of the other ones. You only see Canada, Dinomiscus, and Oleanoids. The reason behind that is because these are the best of, it was in this format in Master Ruel 4, but these are the best ones that you could use because they had the most application when it comes to removal, and just stopping your opponent's plays. Canadia is awesome because back when Orcus tries to do their link summons, you just book a moon them and then it stops their plays. Spyro, they needed some cards to go face up. Book a mooning a what's her name that got banned? I can't remember her name. You guys know who I'm talking about. It'll come to me. The spellcaster one, though, Book of Moon and her was insane. It would literally almost turn off their turns, especially with their souls and stuff too. Spyro, it's okay against Shaddoll though. But long story short, the whole point here is these are the best of the best. Now the main deck Evenly. The reason why in that format, okay, Evenly was the best card to break boards in that format. It's not so much now in Master Ruel 5 because people can have so many negates up, but Evenly, they didn't have spell and trap card negates that much. Even the Spiral board, they had Appaloosa, Sleeper. They would end on all of these things, but none of them could prevent Evenly Match from hitting the field. Literally, when you saw Evenly Match hit the field in last format, it was literally game. So, of course, I was main decking it because it was okay, one blowout card. But also, the theory here was, if I have to go second, if I go first, who cares? It's just food for Dinomiscus, discarded, and it's whatever. But if I have to go second, I needed a way to break their board. Double Evenly or Imperm Evenly was usually enough to do that. So when Evenly resolves, because it almost always did last format, if you had the right bait and the logic that I'm talking to you with right here, once you resolved it, it's like you're going first again. So in theory, it's okay, even though I lost the dice roll, I'm still going first. And because, again, the whole theory with Paleo, if they go first, they win, is literally that, okay? So that was one of the theories behind it. We were also playing cards like Dinomiscus because Dinomiscus is a good first and second card. And similar, you'll see here with Compulse, it does the same thing. You can use the Compulse to go in first or second, and it still has about the same effect, whether it's breaking the board apart or preventing your opponent from doing stuff. So you can see the logic here as we go forward. Same thing with the Gozen match and rivalry. We'll talk about those in a second. But keep going with the whole Imperms here. Imperm does the same thing, first or second card, right? Trap tricks, self-explanatory. We need to get to all of our cards here. Blowout card, Imperial Order was a blowout card. It isn't so much now in this format of Master Ruel 5, but back then it was great. Scapegoat is another win con in itself. You guys know we're doing a whole package in the extra deck where you go Link Spider or you go Link Karibo, Link Climb into either Security Dragon, who can remove a threat off the board in the form of monsters as long as he's co-linked, or you can go Phoenix and remove a back row, draw a card, and then keep going. Okay, so that's what, and then you climb into either Borrow Sword, depending on the game state. You go Borrow Sword, Borrow Load, or Zoroboros, or into Unicorn IP, whichever scapegoat play you want to do. You can go double Link Spider Karibo and then IP. That's the point of the extra deck, okay? Like, so they're all combo pieces for scapegoat, basically. Or also we spam the board, so they're always free. Avamax also is another win con, okay? So going back now, we talked about Compose, good going first or second. You stop them from doing stuff. You know, they might go normal summon, try to link summon, stop them before they link summon, or they link summon. You just say, okay, bye, monster's gone. Now you don't have that monster that you put so much into. Going with Lost Winds. Lost Wind was clutch last format. It's not good now, but last format it was clutch. We had things like Shaddoll Construct and other things that just could not be dealt with. Or even like if you hit a sleeper in the right time or Appaloosa, like perfect. You just turn off all of those negations and things stopping you from playing, and then you get to go. But also it's good food for Dinomischus because if you discard it, you can bring it back and set it back as long as they're making plays. So it was really good to deal with like problem floodgate monsters. Also, Toad becomes super powerful underneath Lost Winds because Toad is stronger than everything because it also cuts their attack points in half, okay, and negates their effect. So it was really strong. I played it at 2 because of the recursion of the card. You didn't need to really play it at like 3 because you can always kind of bring it back from the graveyard. Now this goes in match in one lone copy of Rivalry. The reason why these are important is because they do what I was saying. You can break a board going first or second. If you guys aren't familiar with the mechanics of how these cards work, if a board is already established and your opponent has cards up like that have different attributes, if you flip this on them, they're forced to like condense their field so they only control one attribute. So Shaddolls, this worked good against Shaddolls because believe it or not, Construct, even though their whole deck is dark, Construct in a lot of their extra deck cards, even some of their main deck monsters do not share the dark attribute. So they can't go into Construct because of the light restriction if they have a dark already on the field. And then also they were playing Alistair Fusions. So that was another reason why they weren't able to do much with Goals in Match on the field. Goals in Match lockdown, basically, you lock them down with like your Coral or your Toad, and then you can get rid of your own Goals in Match with these cards, right? Your removal cards, and then just end them with one of your big boys. That's how it goes, okay? Or you literally just control the field and they can't do anything. Also, Dinosaurs was another deck that also cannot play under Goals in Match. So Goals in Match is clutch. Goals in Match is really strong. So the reason why we have one lone copy of Rivalry is because Rivalry was just as powerful in that format as Goals in Once was. But the thing is, Lunalights was a problem, and Lunalights are all dark. So Goals in Match doesn't stop them as much. However, Rivalry stops typing. And because Rivalry stops typing, it messed up their extra deck. So Lunalights are all Beast Warriors, right? They're dark Beast Warriors. However, they cannot go into like their Appaloosas and their Time Thief guys. So that's why we were playing one lone copy of Rivalry, because if I happen to lose a dice roll to them, then at least, or even if I could set this up first, it was like a way to like, okay, Goals in Match isn't good, but at least I drew my one up and this helps me. When they were spamming their rank 4s, right, all they could do is literally be stuck into Beast Warriors and not do anything. They just would set their Beast Warriors in defense mode and couldn't do anything. Then I would take over the field. Mystic Mind, okay. You guys saw how I was using it. It worked a lot better in this format, but the way you basically do it is Mystic Mine and Frogs is pretty broken because you have this interaction with Swap Frog where literally all you do, wait for them to start making their big board, stick a Mystic Mine, whether you flip it on them during their combos with Metaverse or Demise of the Land, or if you happen to bait out their negates and then you just stick it on them. After that, you basically win the duel because last format, this card was insane. Nobody had main deck outs to it. So literally you drop it and it was a win con. I would either just see, as you saw in my first round of the Crush Card Cup, that was as closest to last format as it went. I 2-0 Shaddolls. Easy peasy because literally they had no out to it. You would just sit there, stick them with it, and watch them draw. And then it would be like, oh, I got something. But no, they didn't have any outs to it. So you literally deck them out. Or if you notice that they had an out, what you do is by the time they can out it, you have all of your Paleos in graveyard. You keep discarding your Paleos, and then basically, or you set the ones that you know that can break their board, and then basically you turn off your own Mystic Mine and you OTK them with, if they have a big field, Zoroboros, just blow up their whole field. And then also remember, guys, these are not affected. The Paleo cards are not affected by monster effects. So you can literally go Zoroboros, nuke the field, still have 5 Paleos on field, make your Toads, and then just go crazy. So yeah, that's kind of the theory. Or if they have like 1 monster left, you just go ahead and kill shot them with Borosaur. That was a theory behind the Mystic Mine, and it was very impactful and powerful in the last format, okay? The other interaction that you have, like I said, with Swap Frog can keep bouncing himself to hand, and then you only control 1 monster. Also, you guys see my interaction with Lilith. Lilith can also remove herself from the field. So it's basically like, ha, 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 you can't do anything. I can play Yu-Gi-Oh! And you can't. That's how we do it, all right? Going to the extra deck, we kind of mentioned why these are here. These are the packages that leave with Scapegoat. Koro, though, Koro is your good recursion card. If they weren't playing Nibiru as much last format, so Nibiru was like, okay, or they would take it out against you in game 2, and then you literally just go crazy with Koro, and then next turn you OTK them with Borosaur. So you stun them, and then boom, because you can go literally Koro bounce, normal, blah, 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 and you basically get Swap Frog in graveyard, bring it back with Koro, make your Totally Awesome, and now you have cards in the graveyard ready to go with Totally Awesome already next turn. And then next turn, you just snowballing out of control. Because remember, you cannot summon nothing but water to turn you use her effect. But next turn, you're not going to use her effect. You're just going to OTK them with the Borosaur. Okay. IP Borosaur or IP any of these guys is like insane. They can't out Ava Max, right? And then with Borosaur is literally like, okay, he's already undestructible by battle. So literally it's a card that they have to kaiju or else they die. And then with these two, you can't target him with effects. World Load, he was busted against Shadows because you can steal their cards while they're face down and they don't flip. So that was amazing, all right? Going on further, though, like I said, that's kind of like the extra deck in it. So obviously 3 Toad, I don't need to explain that here. And then Opabinya, he's obviously is a one of just because like you might want to search out your cards here, right? But yeah, these are basically the support and they're the way, like I said, Toad and Friends is how you win with this. So it's literally stun them to OTK them or control the board, make it impossible for them to come back. Or just deck them out because they don't respect this card. So they just lose because you activated one card, which is stupid. Movement to the side deck is similar premises. Border was amazing against both Shadow and Invoke Shadow. Sorry, that's what I'm trying to say. It was good against them. It was good against Salad matchups. It was also good against, I'm looking at my notes, guys. I'm sorry. It was good against Lunalight. Border put in a lot of work, guys. Literally set him up with like a Gozen or set him up with like just having your back row backed up here. And he's amazing. Anti-spell fragrance. So the reason why this is here is because it stops your dogs. Yes, it stopped them from like doing their fusion plays. But the main reason here is I die to Lightning Storm, right? You are seeing no judgments. I don't like judgment because you can't will judgment to your hand. But however, when you had anti-spell fragrance plus a Pointer to the Red Lotus, it was literally like, let me look at your hand and then I'm going to make you set all your Lightning Storms and all of these other cards. And then I get a turn to set up my Toad Negates and my other cards or start picking apart your field with my Oleanoids and other things like Dusters. And then, boom, you can't do anything. And again, the best way I play Yu-Gi-Oh, guys, is not letting my opponent play Yu-Gi-Oh. So that's the reason behind these two. They're like combinations. And then Pointer or the Red Lotus obviously look into their hand, rip out a Lightning Storm, rip out any other removal that's going to threaten your board, and then they're pretty much dead before they get to even do anything because Borosaur coming at you next turn, okay? And then Shadow Imprisonment Mirror. This is my spice. You guys see me use it in one of the matchups against Orcus. This card is literally like, anytime I save this card for formats, there's a Light Imprisonment Mirror and a Shadow Imprisonment Mirror. These come in and out of my side decks. Every time there's a format where there's Dominant, this is good against Shadows, Full Access Dragon, Orcus, even Spiral, believe it or not. Master Plan, that was the card I couldn't remember. Master Plan, when she was like, she's a dark. Also, Souls is a dark. Magician Souls is a dark. So it literally stopped their turns, okay? So that was why we did it, right? And then going here, we got the Gamma Seals. Gamma Seal back then, one kaiju was good enough. Give them one kaiju over like, you know, an Appaloosa or a Sleeper or something like that, and then you basically Boros or OTK them because they're locked into Mystic Mind and they can't do anything, and then you just kill them. So that's kind of like this theory, and this is just massive Ruel. Trap Trick into this is insane. So that's the theory behind the core of my strategy, all right? Stay tuned because we're going to the next version of the deck. This was Master Ruel 4, all right? This was the last deck that I used in Master Ruel 4. All right, guys. So now we're going to jump into the next version of the deck, all right? This was the first version of the deck that I used in Master Ruel 5. As the format changed and basically, you know, we got the ban list, all right? This was right before the quarantine and everything. Right before. So, like I mentioned, the last deck that we saw Master Ruel 4, I was going to take that to the Columbus Regional, and I was probably going to do well because my locals are full with like some of the best players. Team RIW are like some of the best, like not just Michigan players, but like just in general. You know, we had like Tang, he literally top 4 for 2 years straight, is what I'm trying to say. And then we got Ray, he got second place at Nationals. So my locals is packed with like some of the best players. So that was the theories behind a lot of this stuff. A lot of them play testing against them. I was able to craft a deck that was going to be super competitive. And it was. I literally was topping locals with that deck. Like back-to-back weeks, okay? I was first place, second place, top 4 every week, okay? And my locals, like I said, they're like regionals, basically. So going on to this. This is the new version of the deck when Master Ruel 5 hit, and they hit my Toad, poor lonely Toad down there at 1, sadly. I had to adapt my strategy a lot, but I really love that last version of the deck, and I didn't want to change it too much. So I basically was like, how do I still make this powerful with the logic that I was using, even though the format was changing and I didn't know what I was exactly going to be able to do. So we're going to go over the ratios of this one. I played this one. I got to look at my notes. I played this one all the way up until round 6 or 5-ish, I believe. So we'll see this one a lot in a lot of the videos that you guys seen. 3 Swap Frog. So 3 of the dupe, double Ronin, double Lilith. This ratios didn't change too much here. All of 3 of these, 3 of these, 3 of these. So 3 Canadia, 3 Dinomischus, 3 Olinoids, 3 evenly matches, double Imperm, still 3 Trap Tricks, 1 Lonely Imperial Order, 1 Scapegoat, double Compulse, double Lost Winds, double Gozen, 3 of these, okay, 3 Mystic Mine, the whole package still, 3 Mystic Mine, 1 Metaverse, 1 Demise of the Land. And this is a new version, part of it. Here we see the other Paleo that I missed, and I put it here because that was the last edition, is Leluchao. I don't know how to pronounce it. Leech, something, whatever. This one. This guy, what it does, if you guys aren't familiar with it, it returns banished cards. Kind of like how Omega can do. It will bring back a banished card from the banished zone. If either player's banished zone, it brings it to the graveyard. So we'll talk about it soon, why I played it, all right? Going back to the extra deck, Link Spider, Link Karibo, same thing, right? Security Dragon, a Phoenix, IP, a Coral, a Ava Max, a Borosort, a Zoroboros, 1 Toad because we were forced to only play 1 Toad. And then we're going to see me put in some old tactics here. Double Opalbinia, F0, Utopic Future. Yes, I love this card. I mean, it didn't do as much as I wanted it to do, but this is an old tech. Cat Shark, and then Hero to Pure Light, okay? So let's go here to the side deck. We're going to see triple Border, triple Anti-Spell, triple Red Lotus, double Shadow, and double Gamma Seal, and then the double Twin Twisters. So not too much change, but things did change. So as you guys are seeing, one of the big changes of it here is the Lelucha. I added this to my Paleo count because I wanted to up my Paleo count because now with Master Ruel 5 and our zones being uninhibited, I thought it was a good idea to have more Paleos to basically go into my Exceed spams. Because before frogs were a thing, they used to exceed spams before Toadally Awesome even existed. So I was like, okay, there's a good combo that you can do with we're gonna see I replace my toads with 2 of the Opabinas, because the reason being is Opie is powerful when he's unrestricted. Master Rule 4, he was all right because, but the zone things were kind of annoying. I didn't want to clog up my zones. That's why I only played him at 1 before. But now making Opie anywhere is just really powerful, right? So putting 2, because another thing we can do in Master Rule 5 that we couldn't do with Paleo is recycling our Paleo cards. When they're attached, they banish when they come back to the field, right? If you use them for anything else, for link material, they'll banish when they leave the field. However, when they're underneath Exceed material, as Exceed materials, when you detach them, they don't go anywhere. They go back to the graveyard. So that's broken. That's really cool. So I was like, why not up OP? Because it helps with being able to recur my stuff. Another thing you'll see, like I said, this was a combination with OP, the Leloucha, right? The combo with this is really broken and pretty nice. What you do is once you have enough to go into OP, you make a OP with one of the materials being a trap so you can get OP's effect off. You're going to search one of your cards and you're going to search Leloucha. This is only if you need more, okay? You're going to search Leloucha, activate Leloucha. Leloucha's going to bring back either a Paleo card that was banished or one of your frogs. Then that's going to trigger another one of your Paleos that you just detached. So you're going to get 2 bodies on the field, and then you're going to have more fodder in graveyard to basically do what we've been doing. Like I said, OTK, right? OTK or control the board. So if they went too nuts, you're going to blow up their board with Zoroboros. If they're in a simplified game state, this is game. You just literally go into Borosword after that. Whether you need to make an awkward Link Spider or literally or if you want, you can even just control the field with Toad. Just make a Toad, and in a simplified game state, they won't be able to come back from it. And you might even have a floodgate goes in up or something like that. So that's the theory behind why Leloucha is in here. It basically makes sure you don't run out of resources, and it helps you continue to go. What I didn't like about it, though, is, and why I took it out, eventually you'll see that, it makes you brick sometimes if you draw it. You don't want to see this card, okay? That's why I put 41 to mitigate drawing it. But if you draw it, it sucks. But if you don't draw it, it's the perfect combo with OP, okay? And then double OP because, you might burn through an OP, but you'll still have another one and you'll always have access to it. So it kind of focuses more on Paleo than just the frogs alone, all right? The other differences you see in here, we're going to move on. I moved out the rivalry because rivalry wasn't really doing anything. Gozen is better for a format that's undefined because a lot of people are trying different combos. And a lot of people also don't realize what makes Gozen so powerful is that they need to go into their extra deck. And a lot of the times in a lot of decks, even this deck right here, even though Toadally Awesome is water, everything else, like a Borosword and an Avamax, they're not water. So you can't make those underneath Gozen match. So that's why we went to 2 Gozen. I needed room for this, so I had to cut something. So I cut the one lonely rivalry. All right. And then going back with the same logic, controlling the field, try to OTK them or literally just control it so that it can't come back. The side deck didn't change because this was so early and before Secret Slayers dropped, I had no idea what the format was going to be. So I kind of just didn't want to commit to a side deck yet, which these were, you'll see I'll take these out eventually. These weren't that good against the Eldritch when it did come into the format. Going to the extra deck was different, as we mentioned here. F-Zero. F-Zero is basically like Boro Load Dragon. If you don't know what it does, it literally allows you can overlay 2 of your monsters, which is another reason why we have 2 OPs, because you want to burn through one of them to make this. You can go OP and Toad or OP and Cat Shark. You overlay 2 Exceed monsters, and then you bring out F-Zero. And then he can protect himself from destruction. He can also snatch your opponent's monster in a battle phase, kind of like Borolo. The only difference is they get it back at the end of the battle phase, which is why he was okay. He wasn't the best in the world, but I used to play him back in the day, so I thought it was good to bring him back into the game now that we're uninhibited with our zones. He didn't do as much as I wanted him to do, but he did do a lot. So I don't know. I took him out going forward, but it's going to be insane when we get the one that goes on top of this. The dragon, that card is going to be insane in the future. I don't know when they're going to drop it to us, but that card is insane. You literally just overlay it on top of this, and you'll basically be able to steal your opponent's monsters just like Toad can. But so that's why he's in there. He's just a more late game controller card. You overlay a OP in a Cat Shark or an OP in a Toad, and then you just make it to kind of like get rid of problems. Cat Shark, oh my goodness, I love Cat Shark, guys. You saw me use the Cat Shark OTK. Basically, what Cat Shark does, if you don't know, it will double the attack points of a monster that's rank 2 or lower. What is that? Obviously, Totally Awesome, right? So Totally Awesome gets to go to 4,400 attack points. That's crazy. Like, you already can't beat them, and it's a quick effect, so you can use it on their turn. So if they try to like go into battle phase and get rid of it, you can be like, nope, detach, target Toad, Toad gets big. Also, the other thing is, while it has water materials, if you made it kind of like Abyss Dweller, it won't be able to be destroyed. It gets an additional effect that it won't be even destroyed by battle. So they can't even attack over it. So that's also really cool. I love Cat Shark. Enough of him. The other reason why we have Herald of Light, Herald of Pure Light here, this is in case our Toad got like in graveyard somehow, maybe they striked it or something and there was no way to get it back. Bring a card back into your hand, and then what happens is you have to put a card back into your deck. Now, the loop around this is if the card went back to the extra deck, it never went to your hand, so you won't have to put a card back. So this was to recycle like a Opabinya or a Toad or a Cat Shark, maybe if it's late game and something happened to it, and then we would basically get it back into the extra deck, and then we can still play, because if our one lonely copy of Toad gets banished or something or is gone and we can't have access to it, you basically lose some of the power of the deck, which is why them doing what they did to Toad is just so unfair. Having him at 1 sucks, because you have to basically, you're forced to not get back a Swap Frog. You have to get back himself. And if you can't get himself back, then you're usually losing the game. So that's kind of like the logic here. But yeah, not too much changed here. And that's because I was really trying to understand what the meta was doing. And I went with the mentality that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This stemmed from my last build, which has so much success, so I didn't want to change it. But yeah, so that's kind of why the logic of this one is what it is. The new things that we added were these, a few things in the extra deck, and then we changed some of the main deck stuff. Let's go on to the next version of the deck. All right, guys. So this is the deck version that I used during round. I used that last version that you saw. I used that one all the way up until about round 6 or 5. That's when I changed to this, which, again, we were allowed to change our cards in between those rounds. But I was having decent success with how it was working until Secret Slayers came out, guys. That shook me up so much. Oh my goodness, I wasn't ready. Like, you'll see, like, going towards the end of the tournament in the Crush Card Cup, I started doing not as good or not knowing what my opponent was doing. And the reason why I have so much success with my decks is because I play like chess. Like I said this before, I play moves ahead of my opponent to know what they're doing. When I don't know what they're doing, though, that's when it becomes hard for me to win, because I couldn't understand what they were trying to do because I didn't know what they were doing. It threw off my whole process in my deck building and everything. So this is me kind of starting to maybe understand what they're doing. And Eldritch, this was when the pure versions of Eldritch were going through. This is before Eternity Code. Eternity Code was not around, so there was no Synchro Eldritch here, right? This was pure Eldritch, Invoke Eldritch, and other random splashes of Eldritch. And then rocks were doing something, but they weren't as dominant as Eldritch was. I think Eldritch was like doing a lot more. But yeah, so this is kind of like getting your mindset into this. Round 5-ish or 6 of the Cimoooooooo Crush Cup. So let's get on to it. 3 Swap Frogs. I never really changed these frog ratios, so I'm going to zoom through those. 3 Swap Frog, 3 Dupe, 2 Ronin, Lilith, double Lilith. I kept Lilith still because I really liked the interaction I was having with the Mystic Mine and things like that. And then our Paleo count up didn't change up too much either. 3 Canada, 3 Dino-Mescus, 3 Oleanoids, 3 Trap Trick, 1 Scapegoat, double Compulse, our Mystic Mine package. So 3 Mines, 1 Metaverse, 1 Demise of the Land, double Impermanence, which is trash against Eldritch, honestly, like in a pure version. But hey, it's Impermanence, right? I couldn't take it out. And this was a new spice that I was trying. I learned this from, was Crush Card, the channel Crush Card, not the tournament. Crush Card combined with Mike Wiz, they were kind of the ones that were talking about these. So you go Dark Sacrifice, but I didn't steal it from them. Me and Mike actually talked about this tech at Nats last year. I was telling him about this card, and I was telling him, like, yeah, you play Lilith, so it would be good if you use Lilith with it. But then we took it a step further and thought about Backjack, okay? But I didn't play it recently because I was like, I think it's doing too much. And I didn't get a chance to actually test it. But Mike was able to actually test it out and he did well with it. So then I basically was like, hey, I'm going to use the logic and take it from him because he seemed like he used our idea and it worked. Okay. So Dark Sacrifice, what you do is it prevents destruction. I got tired of getting Lightning Storm. I got tired of getting hit with a Conquistador. I got tired of them picking apart my cards. So it basically prevents destruction. You negate the effect and you send a Fiend to the graveyard from your deck, okay? So the reason why I upped my count of Lilith here was because, okay, more Fiends, more targets, but also Lilith can search this, right? And what I wanted to do basically in game 2 and 1, I wanted to set up my cards and not have them interrupted and basically go for it, okay? And then we still had the evenly matches in here too. But so yeah, so Lilith, Backjack, Sacrifice. What you do is you send them to the graveyard, you stop a card from destroying your cards. If you send Backjack, Backjack's effect goes off, you get to look at the top 3 cards like Pot of Duality, look at your top 3 cards of your deck, arrange them in any order, then you can banish Jack from your graveyard and then set one of your cards from the top of your deck, right? So that was cool. I love the interaction with them. And I'm glad that we talked about it before because I didn't think it was worth trying, but they were able to actually do it and it had success. So I was like, hey, let me grab that from them and use it myself, right? And then evenly matched, it's really not that good this format, but guys, I thought that I was trying to keep the same logic of the old school deck that I had made for Master Ruel 4, and I thought maybe it would do all right. Also, before the Secret Slayers dropped, like it was still really powerful, right? Against Shadal's, it literally is a blowout card. Going here, we see our side deck kind of changed a lot though here, right? The extra deck didn't change from last round, right? Still Link Spider, Link Karibo, Security Dragon, Phoenix, IP, Coral, Avamax, Borosort, Zoroboros, Toad, Opabinia to 2, F0 to 1, 1 Cash Shark, and then 1 of the hero. Our side deck is what changed though, okay? So our main deck and side deck changed the most out of this round. So we see double Silver Surfer. We see Red Lotus at 3, Prohibition to 3, which is like somebody asked me in the comments how many was I running. Well, at this time I was running 3 because MST.TV Tom Box, he made a video and I was like, he mentioned this card. And I remember I saw some people in my locals playing this card a while ago before last format to do some things like put up a Mystic Mine and just stop. I also saw Jeff Leonard doing the same thing. So I was like, Also, Shu Ping, the guy who did the Dragon Link deck, the father of that deck, he basically talked about how this card was really good at the beginning of this format that we currently have, guys. So I take it out later though because it doesn't do as much anymore. But yeah, what was the purpose of it was you call Golden Lord, you call their problem cards like Lightning Storm, or you guys will see in one match, I even did this where I baited out a DD Crow. I activated it. I had the OTK set up because remember the same logic as I mentioned to the deck, as I just mentioned before, you want to set up your big boy heavy hitters like this to end the game, right? So, but in doing so, you need the graveyard when you're setting up the graveyard. So a lot of times people were starting to play DD Crow, which is terrible against us. Like it hurts us so much. If they DD Crow your Ronin, you're kind of screwed and you're stuck. So one of the applications for Prohibition was bait those cards out immediately so I know, do I have to OTK set up or do I have to do something else and pivot to plan B to controlling the board instead, right? So I also took out Gozen Match because I didn't think it was that good when Eldritch Rush was starting, even though I think it's still really an amazing card right now. But yeah, so that was the main change here. I wanted to just prevent them from doing so. Another interaction with this, the Dark Sacrifice, telling them to stop destroying my cards, you protected your own Mystic Mind. That's also something that I thought about from Jeff Leonard, kind of like mixing that spice together of like Shu Ping, Jeff, and some other things, and Mike and my strategy. Like it was going on places, but I don't know, guys. It was okay. So yeah, you DD Crow, right? They have a hand trap. Let's say Nibiru. Call them Nibiru. They can't play Nibiru. You're good to OTK them. Or you activate it, they chain their DD Crow. You say DD Crow, they chain DD Crow. So what? Now you know it's there, and now they can't use another one. So you still have at least one Ronin Zone in the graveyard to do what you needed to do, and then OTK them. Zapion, oh my goodness, the Time Lord Zapion. You guys saw what he did in that one matchup. I still think going forward though is okay now because they've changed a lot of things in their decks. But in the early stages of Eldritch, all they did was set their cards, right? So they would just set their cards and then summon a Golden Lord and try to control you. Zapion, if you're reading here, and make sure you watch that matchup where you see, but basically he shuffles all of their back row back into the deck. So we saw Rainbow Neos having a lot of like amazing coming to the format, right? Rainbow Neos has that effect that shuffles everything back into the graveyard. Well, this was my spice of not playing Rainbow Neos because I didn't know Rainbow Neos was a thing before, but this was my spice. This is one of the cards I take in and out of decks of my deck throughout the formats when it's relevant. He has synergy because he's water monster. If he goes to the graveyard, so if you link him off, you can get a draw from him. And the whole thing that I mentioned, he can't be destroyed by battle. He can't be targeted. Or sorry, I think he can be targeted. He just can't be destroyed. So they cannot stop him from basically shuffling in the back row. The only thing they can do is forever. And if they have the forever, well, fine. Well, it won't even destroy it, actually. So, yeah, no. Yeah, that was the logic. It was literally like you can't even destroy it. So, like, and then when they try to get rid of it or if they do get rid of it, you get a draw card from it. But also, just shuffling their cards back is important because it denies them from going to the graveyard, which means they lose their recursion. Because Eldritch, basically, when they remove stuff, that's how they get their stuff. You destroy their cards or they activate their cards, they go into graveyard, and then they can keep using them and playing through the graveyard. If they never hit the graveyard to begin with, then they can't continue to snowball. So that was the logic there. Lava Golem, you guys see me playing Lava Golem multiple times in the past. I explained during the matchup where I used it is between kaijus. You have one kaiju, you got the two kaijus, Lava Golem is your two, and you have your three kaiju raw spear mode. I like the in between because Lava Golem gets rid of two monsters. And for any board to be threatening, you usually need to have two monsters, okay? So that's why I like Lava Golem because it's that in between. A lot of people can play around Spear Mode. They'll stop at two and they'll leave you with just two monsters. So then you can't use Spear Mode because Spear Mode has to have three. And then Kaijus, you saw my last build. I was using Kaiju's last format, but in this format, one Kaiju getting rid of one threat isn't enough because Emancipator boards are ridiculous. So you kind of want to be able to edge and wedge against their double negations or triple negations. Getting rid of two of them and then dealing with them with something else later on, like a Compose or anything else to remove them, or even make one of your guys and run over it, like a Herald or something. It gives you a little bit more flexibility. So that's why I like Lava Golem. It eats up your normal summon, yes, but if you have a Toad in hand, it doesn't matter. Sorry, Swap Frog in hand, you can just special summon. The other reason why I don't like Spear Mode in this build specifically, because I do like Spear Mode, guys. Don't get me wrong. I love Spear Mode. I just don't like it in this build. We're playing Mystic Mind. If you guys remember, Spear Mode comes back to you, the controller, after a turn. So I don't want to give them a big chicken nugget wing of Spear Mode and then it comes back to me and then messes me up from my own Mystic Mind. So that's why we're not playing Spear Mode. And then Dusters didn't come out because I needed some type of massive removal, but you'll see that I take Dusters out eventually because Dusters are actually terrible against Eldritch. Like, maybe when they flip it and they try to bring it out, it's okay because you'll stun them for a turn, but honestly, it's too slow. You also lose your battle phase, so that's what I don't like about it anymore. It just became a little too slow for me, all right? So that's kind of like the differences why you see the logic and the changes of this one. Remember, I played this one up until about round 5 or 6. Stay tuned. We're going to get into the next one. All right, guys. So this is the next version. I played that last one that you saw all the way up until, looks like I said, round 8, okay? So about round 8 and 7, this is when I brought this deck out, all right? So if you look here, it's not too different. You'll see goes and match returns. We're going to go through the ratios real quick, and then I'll explain the logic behind some of it, but it's not too different from what we saw, okay? So 3 swap, 3 dupe, 2 Ronins, double Lilith, Canadia to 3, same ratios here. Canadia to 3, Dinomischus to 3, Oleanoids to 3, Traptrix to 2. Okay, that is one difference. We took out one Traptrix here. So to 2, not to 3, but to 2. All right. We Scapegoat. We got Evax to 2, double 2. We have the Mind package. I kept it in there. So 3 Mystic Minds, 1 Metaverse, Demise of the Land, we have right here our imperms, right? Double imperms. The Dark Sacrifice thing, I kept it in for quite a while because it was actually doing some good things, right? So 3, and then we got Backjack to 1. Triple evenly matches because for some reason I thought that it was good against Eldritch, but it's really just actually okay. But anyway, that's why. And then Goals and Match comes back in here. Okay. We're going to go bounce down here. The extra deck stayed exactly the same. Still Link Karibo and Link Spider. We still got Security Dragon. We still got the Phoenix. We still got an IP. We still got a Coral. We still got Avamax. We still got Boro. We still got Zoro. We still got Toad. We still got Double OP. We still got F-Zero. We still got Cash Shark. And we still got Hero, okay? Of Pure Light. Hero to Pure Light. Not to be mistaken with the other Hero. And then our side deck here, we have double Silver Surfer. Yeah, I went to 2 instead of 3. Triple of the Lotus. You guys see I took out the Anti-Spell Fragrance. Triple of the Prohibition. Triple Lava Golem. I upped that boy up because 3, and you need 3 of them. And then the double of the Dusters, which, like I said, I took it out eventually, but I guess I still kept it here. And then double Zappion, okay? So let's go over the changes here. So the main change you see, like I said, I took Trap Tricks out, right? And then I also made it a 40 card deck instead of a 41 card deck. The reason why I took out the 1 Paleo, right? You saw that I had the Lelouch. I took out the Return Banish card because as much as I love this combo, I kept drawing it like there's a Garnet Brick, and it was annoying me. And in the matchups against Eldritch and Rock, you literally have to have every card matter or you lose. So that's my logic of cutting it into a 40 card deck instead of a 41 card deck, which usually I don't mind playing 41 cards, but I wanted consistency to be the key thing here. I took out my Lost Winds because they weren't doing anything. Lost Winds is trash against Eldritch. It literally does nothing. So I had to take those out, even though it was a good card last format. Remember, we want to win. You got to constantly adapt your strategy to win. Even though a deck might be powerful in one format, it may not be the same in a different format, okay? And I learned the lesson real hard and real soon that as strong as my Paleo deck was for Master Ruel 4, Secret Slayers really changed the game, and I was not ready for it. And that meta changed so fast that I wasn't prepared for it. So I did okay, but I had to adapt. I put Goals and Match back in here because I noticed that, again, Emancipators actually cannot play under Goals and Match. Even though they're all Earth monsters, their extra deck is what they need. Without their extra deck, they literally are just stuck summoning big rocks that can't do anything. So that's why I put Goals and Match back in here. Also, like, you'll see later, but this was before Eternity Code, so Eternity Code was not legal during this time. But in Eternity Code, though, Synchro Eldritch was birthed, and Goals and Match is actually powerful against Synchro Eldritch, which is why I said I love Goals and Match. So that's why I had to put it back in here. I was like, I don't know why I took it out before, but now I know why I took it out before, guys. So Golden Lord, he is a light monster, and so are all of the Hunqueros and all of that stuff, the traps. And when they first came out and they were on the pure build, Golden was trash against the pure build because you couldn't really do anything to them, and they would have bigger monsters than you. So that's why I took it out. But again, I put it back in because I saw it was really good against Rock, okay? And then we saw that I cut my Lilith to 2 because I didn't like her at 3. I thought 2 was fine, and I wanted the consistency, okay? Going to the side deck, though, we see I went to Border to 2, which really was awkward for me because it's really good against Rock, but it was terrible against pure Eldritch. So I was like, I didn't really want to I want to have as much hate cards for Eldritch as possible. Against Rock, we are okay to beat Rock because we have a lot of control cards. Literally, normal summon Doki Doki, Book of Moon. Their turn is over, right? Summon certain things like a researcher with a Doki. As soon as they're about to excavate, you say nope. Before you do that, banish it, right? So we had a good matchup against Rock already. So that's why I lean this more towards how do I beat Eldritch? Because Eldritch was an awful, terrible matchup. And everybody was playing. It's like when the best deck is like your worst matchup, it's really hard to win. So I was trying to do whatever I could to kind of combat that, all right? So Golden Lord kills him. That's why we had him at 2 instead. Amazing against Rock though, right? A pointer stayed at 3. You guys are gonna see I take a pointer out later because it didn't do as much as I wanted it to do. They still just lightning storm me. Even like I don't know, it was doing all right though. But like before the gas was so real, like it was meh. Okay, but it didn't do much though against Eldritch, right? Because what do? Take out their Golden Lord, all right, whatever. They just set their cards and then they get it back, and then they just kept doing stuff. So, but yeah, it's still at 3 here. Prohibitions at 3 because again, a lot of pure belts of Eldritch were running around during this time. So you call Golden Lord, that literally like lets me have more engine cards than them, which Dino Mystics against pure Eldritch is like busted because you just banish their Golden Lord or banish their continuous traps as soon as they activate, and then they lose the resource because that's the most important part, which is why you see Cosmic Cyclone coming back into the format. Cosmic Cyclone does exactly what this card does, which is why it was really good to like kind of like counter it. So Prohibition was like slow them down a bit, and then basically I can control the field and do what I usually do to win. Lava Golem, I kind of explained it already. I upped it to 3 because you want to break their board, okay? If you can go literally Lava Golem into Mystic Mine against a rock board, like you're fine. Or like let's say when they were playing the pure Eldritch version, right? You literally, if they had 2 cards, like a Golden Lord and something else, you would just kaiju both of those with the Lava Golem, turn off their whole engine, and then you can start doing whatever, like an evenly match or anything else in here that can kind of like wedge against them, all right? I kept Dusters in here because I thought I needed removal for other decks that weren't Eldritch. I soonly found out that everybody was just playing Eldritch, and like this card is bad against Eldritch, but I always kept them in there because I just didn't want to be without removal from certain things. But I explained why it's bad already against them is because you skip your battle phase and you're not getting rid of the problem. You destroy the cards, but it goes to the graveyard, and then they can just bring back stuff. So it's bad. Zappion, he put in work in a few of those rounds. So I was like, I'm gonna keep Zappion because worst case scenario, I mean, he's good, right? Like I can draw cards, I can discard them with Swap Frog if I have to. You even see the spicy play where I bounce him back to my hand with Swap Frog because you can do that, and then I summon him later on to just wipe away the field of Eldritch. Like I said, this is more Eldritch hate than anything because the Golden Lord was such an oppression for Paleo to deal with. Okay, so but like I said, moving forward, Zappion becomes not that good, okay? But again, during the time, it was really great. I keep saying that because I want to make sure you guys understand that the logic in why I played these card choices were as the meta was evolving. And as the meta was evolving, it was very difficult to keep thinking about cards and playtesting. I was doing so many things, so it was really difficult. But that's basically the gist of this deck. We're going to move on to the next version of the deck. All right, guys. So yeah, this is like the last and final version of the deck that I played. Okay, I believe I even played this one through the LCS. Okay, right? And like I keep saying, as time was evolving and we had all of these tournaments happening and firing, I had to keep adapting to the strategies. So this is the final version of it that you guys see me playing in the last round. Okay, so we see some spice and some things that I changed. We're gonna go right to it. 3 Swap Frog. I'd never changed this ratio, honestly. 3 Swap Frog, 3 Dupe, 3 Ronins, double Lilith, 3 of the Canadias, 3 of the Dinomiskis, Oleanoids at 3. Trap Trick still, actually, no, I added it back in here. Sorry. Trap Tricks to 3. You see it there. That last one is over there. So I added back the 1 Trap Tricks in there. So Trap Trick to 3. Scapegoat to 1. Double Compulse. We're going to go, again, the Mystic Mine package is still in here. So 3 Mine, 1 Metaverse, and then Demise of the Land. And then right here we have double and perm still, triple evenly matched still, double goes in match. Main deck DD Crow 3, okay? So that's the changes in the main deck. We're going to come back to it in a minute as I go through the rest of the cards. Extra deck. This didn't change too much, except you will see some things down here that did change because I was trying this out. So Link Spider, Link Karibo. These are all part of your Scapegoat package. Security Dragon, Phoenix, IP. We have Coral Steel. We have Big Daddy Avamax. We got Boros Sword, Zero Boros, 1 lonely copy of Toad, Sad Day, our double OP Cat Shark, and then we see Wakened Dragon targets. So this is one that's really well known, right? The Lost Warrior from another planet. This guy, when he comes to the field, you basically like stop your opponent from doing stuff. They can't summon. And then we have this next spice that I discovered, Blue Eyes Ultimate Alternative Dragon. Yeah, let that one sink in for a second. So we're going to talk about it in a second and what it does in a minute. I'll get to it as we go to the side deck, all right? So going back here, Silver Surfer, Expector Border. I put him back to 3, guys, because I was like, I need him to be the 3 because I'm not seeing him anymore. 3 Prohibition, Lava Golem. You guys see I took a pointer of the Red Lotus out of the side deck. 3 Lava Golems, 3 Zappions, and then 3 Awakening Dragons. All right, let's talk about what's different and what we do here and why it's different, all right? Going back to the main deck, the major difference between the main deck here is, again, consistency. I changed it back to a 40-card deck because I wanted it to be as super consistent as possible. I even put Trap Trick back in here because I realized that Trap Trick, I put it back to 3. The last version had it at 2. It said 3. I put it back in here because Trap Trick gets you to your Dino-Miscus. And Dino-Miscus against Eldritch is literally how you win. It's your win con. Banish the Golden Lord, you win. Remember, this is before the only round of Cimoooooooo Crush Cup that was Eternity Code legal before the synchro versions came out and stuff was the pure versions of Eldritch. Pure versions and Invoke Eldritch, Zombie Eldritch, all of those versions of Eldritch, okay? Synchro did not exist until round 11, okay? But nobody actually discovered it yet, so it wasn't as popular. Round 11 was the last one, but I played this round 10, round before that, and then round 11, okay? So this was the last 2. Getting back to it, this Dino-Miscus is your win con, was against the pure Eldritch, okay? So that's why we put Trap Tricks back to 3 to basically get to it as fast as possible, okay? Another win con is if you could resolve the evenly match at the right times, which Trap Trick can help you do, then you banish all of their stuff, and then they're not getting that recursion, okay? Even though I think still, I don't like evenly matched right now in this format. I actually haven't played it in a while. As much as I love the card, it's literally one of my favorite trap cards. It's not that good right now. But when they were pure, it was okay. It was literally just okay. So that was kind of the logic here. The other logic here was DD Crow. We see DD Crow come in, which wasn't a part of the deck before. DD Crow was amazing in the beginning, middle of the format because you can literally banish their Golden Lords or banish their cards because DD Crow lets you banish any card in the graveyard. So let's say they activate a trap. They're planning to use it to banish and get their stuff set, their Golden Land set. Nope, DD Crow is out of there. Or let's say I was battling, duking it out. I managed to make them use it forever or something, and they got their Golden Lord in graveyard. All right, cool. DD Crow, banish. The goal was literally banish the DD Crow or Dino-Miscus, and then you win. That was like kind of the logic. And again, against Rock Deck, we kind of already had a decent matchup, so I wasn't trying to hedge too much against them. So that's the major differences between this. I took out, you saw the other thing I took out, no Dark Sacrifice, no Lilith's still here, but no Backjack. They were too slow. By the time you set that up and get that going, you're already dead. So I needed just fast cards. Like, this is the logic. Consistency, fast, and get rid of the problems. That's basically how we, like, take this out. Again, if this is a chess match, how do I take out their queen, their most important power piece, as fast as possible and still give me something to play with without losing too much? So going on to the side deck and extra deck, the only major difference of this extra deck are the Awakened Dragon targets, which you see we playing Awakened Dragon now. I know that I've said in the past that I don't like Awakened Dragon, and I still don't. I think it's really okay. Honestly, I think it's trash right now in the current state that we're in because post Eternity Code right now, it doesn't do anything. However, when we were with the pure versions of Eldritch, it was better. And the reason why is because you see my targets here. So if I got tired of getting Lightning Storm. Literally every single games, I was getting Lightning Storm and blown out. So I had to do something, okay? So I was like, fine. I'm gonna stop trying to prevent. That's why we took out the backjack stuff in the Dark Sacrifice. Stop trying to prevent them from destroying my stuff and literally just let them do it and then punish them for it. That was the logic here because I got tired of trying to protect everything. So Awakening Dragon, if you guys don't know, it's been on the screen for a while, but when it's destroyed, you basically can bring out a monster from your extra deck or anywhere, honestly. You can bring out a Swap Frog if you wanted to, but usually you want to bring out some broken extra deck monster. So Lost Warrior from a different planet, it literally stops everybody from special summoning and summoning period. The only thing they can do is set monsters. So this happened in the LCS. Somebody Lightning Stormed me. They were playing Rock, right? It happened twice actually. They Lightning Stormed me. They were playing Water and Rock. So Water, Rock, any combo decks, right? You literally stop this from happening. You stop them from playing Yu-Gi-Oh! They destroy your back row, fall into Lightning Storm. The other thing too, the other interaction here, Trap Tricks, right? That's another reason why we put Trap Tricks to 3. Trap Tricks, if they go Lightning Storm, you go chain Trap Tricks, bring out Awakening Dragon with Trap Tricks and set it. Awakening Dragon is destroyed and then it destroys them. So I did that during the LCS twice. It happened twice. Water, it locked them into not being able to combo and do their stuff. And then against Rock, it locked them from being able to combo and do their stuff. So that's the situation when you use Warrior to different planet. When decks need to rely on their summons, if you have a simplified game state, like let's say you lock them out with a Goes In or like these face down Paleo cards and just start playing Protect Your Castle, like literally they can't do anything and you win. Just because they wanted to be reckless and destroy your back row, you punish them for it. The other thing that you see here is Blue Eyes Ultimate Alternative Dragon. All right, let's talk about this card. This card is a card that came out in, I believe, the same 10 that Nibiru came in, the Collector's 10, 2020. I love this card. This card is amazing because it does, before we were playing Falcon, right? And I explained this logic already, but I'm going to go and do it again. Falcon, Ultimate Falcon. Let me see if I can just bring it up actually real quick. Ultimate Falcon is amazing, right? He's a big bird. He comes out, and you basically, the part that matters is this part here. In his whole text, the only thing that matters is unaffected by your opponent's card effects. Here's the problem, though. Golden Lord, when he comes out using his own effect, he becomes 1,000 attack points stronger. His attack points are 25. You can do the math there. That means that they can literally crash their Golden Lord into your Falcon, which is why I said Awakening Dragons was trash. However, with the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon has 4,500 attack points, right? So, and he also cannot be targeted or destroyed, right? Golden Lord's effect targets. The one that sends from hand, it targets. And Conquistador also destroys. It doesn't target, but it destroys. So my logic behind this is Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon is so strong that the only way they can out it would be to go into a train. That is when they were playing their pure builds. Now they can easily out this, but at the time, that was the way, right? The other thing that's cool about Blue Eyes Ultimate Alternative Dragon is he has another effect that can come in handy. Falcon is just a beast stick. He just swings and he keeps swinging. Blue Eyes Ultimate has another effect that says you can destroy any card on the field that your opponent controls. Target it and pop it. He can't attack the turn that you do that. But he can get rid of floodgates. He can get rid of the back row. He can get rid of field spells. He can do it all, basically. It's why we played him instead of Falcon. So this is a future tech that if you guys want to play Awakening Dragon in a format where cards target and destroy, this card is better than Falcon. Because Falcon, the only thing that Falcon is good for is the fact that it's just straight up unaffected, which means something else can like destroy like the Blue Eyes. But in a format where only targeting happens, only destruction happens, then it's fine. But you do need to watch out for certain things. Anything that does not target can get rid of him. But it also has to not destroy. So something like, I don't know, like a Quaking Mirror Force. That's the first thing that came to mind. That would actually Book of Moon him. But then it like a normal Mirror Force still wouldn't even destroy him. So it's a workaround, right? So this is what the logic was behind that. It was basically the wedge against the Golden Lord. We upped our Inspector Border back to 3 because the reason is, like I said, I wanted to draw him and I wasn't seeing him. He's amazing as rock. He's amazing against Ultra Guys and other random rogue things that rely on their monster effects. So I love Silver Surfer. He's always been a part of my deck. So I upped him back to 3. And then Prohibition, we talked about how good it is in stopping certain things from happening. As I mentioned to you guys before, remember that even right now, I'm not playing this deck currently because a lot of the things, don't worry, I'm still playing Frogs. A lot of the things have changed so much because when Eternity Code came out, Secret Slayer's Eternity Code basically shaking up the meta so hard. I was not able to like deal with what people were doing. The deck started to get out of hand, and a lot of my strategies had to change. And because a lot of my strategies had to change, I wasn't able to keep up with the changing meta. And that was the first time a meta has changed this fast for me. Usually, like in 2 weeks, I'm like, I analyze it and I'm like, all right, I know how to win. But I literally could not figure it out. Every time I tried to figure it out, they kept doing something different. And every time that happened, it basically put me in a situation where I was in the middle of this tournament with Cimoooooooo's Crush Cup. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't pause the days and start to study. It literally was like day by day, these tournaments kept firing. And I was doing commentation for PPG, which was helpful to be able to like look at what people were doing. But I wasn't able to like understand and hack the meta. I believe right now I have a better understanding and grasp, and I would change a lot of things about these decks. But this is what you guys asked for, the decks and the recipes that I played. So I gave you about 5 different decks, so have fun with them. I hope you guys really enjoy it. And remember to use my link below, bookmark the TCG player link, my TCG player link, so that you guys help me out and can get the cards that you want. Stay tuned. I'm working on some new spice, all right? Stay around. I don't know when I'm gonna reveal it yet. I usually like to wait till I actually top something before I reveal my spice, but I'm working on something new. If you guys are watching the streams of the PPG, you might see me playing sometimes. So I'm working on something new. It's still Frogs, but I'm moving away from Paleo for a second just because I think that it's not the right format to do what I'm trying to do with Paleo, but I might bring it back, okay, if my new strategy doesn't work. I just want to see how the meta changes. Also want to see if we get a ban list. But stay around, guys, because that spice is going to be nice, all right? Stay tuned, all right? Watch another video. There's going to be a video on the screen somewhere. Make sure you click it and stay tuned.